woman who is a junior advocacy analyst at UNFPA, but she's also a sociologist with rich experience advocating for women's reproductive rights in Peru and researching on the impact of various interventions on marginalized communities in complex environments. How significant is the Beijing Platform for Action for your work, please?
Thank you for the invitation. I am honored to participate in this panel and to commemorate such an important day. I will try to link, or I will link the question to my personal experience and to my previous work, so maybe a lot of us can relate more to it. So to answer your question, I was born when the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action was adopted in 1995, and it has been very significant in shaping how my life has developed until today, and it has been fundamental in changing laws, policies, practices, and especially the people's mindsets regarding the role of women and girls in society. This has paved the ways for many of us, women, to be here and to have a better, safer, and freer life than our predecessors, to have the possibility to have our own rights and choices recognized, and also to access information, services, and tools to build and to enable us to unlock our potential in life by ourselves and for ourselves. So, for instance, comparing my experience with those of the women in my family, I recognize that I was the first to break free from economic constraints into which I was born, particularly the cycle of poverty that shaped my mother's and grandmother's life, and the social expectations concerning children, in which I have the capacity to plan when to have children and choose to a safer medical facility and practitioners, while my grandmother had 10 children, and that put her in vulnerable situations and confined her to childcare. However, my current position is not a matter of luck or individual efforts or blessings. My journey has been deeply intervened with the support of various peoples and circumstances that made it possible, especially the role of the family, the advocacy of civil society groups that work alongside international community and corporation, and the role of other women that I met in my life. So thanks to this complex and interconnected web of support, I was able to access education and pursue a professional career that is really difficult for women that come from my hometown in Peru. Even at the times when I doubted myself, my family believed in me. So in this regard, I want to emphasize the importance of having allies, especially men who have stood for us. So for instance, my brother and my father recognized the challenges that my mother and I faced and did everything in their power to support us, allowing us to shape our own futures without impositions or pressures about our supposed place in the world. So beyond my network, the work of civil society, along the efforts and the support of international organizations, has been transformative. So especially women and feminist organizations in my country, in which I was an advocacy member for numerous years. We have legitimacy to act and fight for our rights in the PFA, especially in reproductive rights. So these groups have played a crucial role in disseminating and advocating for women's economic and political inclusion, implementing projects to combat various forms of violence, and holding government accountable for their obligations and commitment to gender equality. Specifically in my region, in Latin America, issues such as feminicide and sexual violence remain prevalent. Yet, thanks to these efforts, we were able to spread information about justice organizations that allow free consultations, and also we provided free access to knowledge and tools that help build confidence, recognize dangerous situations to prevent feminicide, implement boundaries and consent, and make informed decisions about our futures. This also allowed me to create an idea of the type of choices and possibilities I had. Finally, not less important, I had great exposure and experience with meeting empowering women in different moments in my life who challenged me, and they were the fire for me to continue fighting for my dreams and building my career. I can name, like, from university colleagues, professors, bosses, diplomats here in the UN Council, and my mother. So as an Andean woman, my presence here symbolizes the progress we have made in including and empowering women from diverse backgrounds, specifically from those with economic disadvantaged communities, diverse origins, especially indigenous women, and remote regions. However, I am still an exception because women in my region, we continue to face immense challenges based in the place we live, the language we speak, our age, and other intersecting factors. Many still lack autonomy over decisions regarding their bodies, including when and how to have children. Access to healthcare and education remain limited, and when it's possible to get access to them, there is not an intercultural and inclusive approach, which leads sometimes to violence, such as obstetric violence. Additionally, the presence of armed groups and international organized crimes exposes many women to sexual violence and human trafficking. There is still much work to be done to eliminate violence against women, uphold our rights over our bodies and futures, and protect those who want to bring life into the world. However, this panel reminds us that we are steadily advancing women's rights and improving our life, especially in these turbulent times. So the vision of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action must continue to guide governments in translating commitments into actions and encouraging international cooperation to increase their investments rather than retreating from the inspiration of gender equality. It continues to be relevant as ever for the young generation of women and men in all our diversity to demand a place in the table and claim our rights. So let's continue the march towards a better future, and thank you so much.